Welcome back, Money Hunters. Police Garlight in today's episode. We're revealing the 4 most valuable coins that collectors are paying huge prices for right now. These coins may look ordinary, but in rare condition, they can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Stay locked in, because one of these hidden treasures could be sitting in your pocket or coin jar at this very moment. Let's uncover the value and turn knowledge into real cash potential. Moneybag Fire. The 1967 coin occupies a unique place in the Kennedy half-dollar series because it was minted during a period of national transition, economic change, and intense public interest in coin collecting. Many collectors seek this coin due to its 40% silver composition, special minting circumstances, and the possibility of finding scarce high-grade examples or valuable mint errors. Today, the coin continues to attract attention from investors and collectors alike, particularly those interested in Silver-era United States coinage and historically significant pieces connected to President John F. Kennedy. The historical background of the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is deeply tied to the aftermath of President S. assassination in 1963. The Kennedy half-dollar series was introduced in 1964 as a memorial coin honoring the late president, replacing the Franklin half-dollar almost immediately after his death. Public demand for the new coin was extraordinary, with Americans saving large quantities as keepsakes rather than spending them in circulation. By 1967, the United States Mint was facing a severe coin shortage nationwide, prompting the government to continue striking large numbers of Kennedy halves while temporarily removing mint marks from circulating coinage to discourage hoarding. As a result, all 1967 Kennedy half-dollars were produced without mint marks, even though they were struck primarily at the facility in Philadelphia under special authorization. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar is its composition and design. The coin contains 40% silver, making it part of the short-lived silver-clad era that lasted from 1965 through 1970. Prior to 1965, Kennedy halves were struck in 90% silver, but rising silver prices forced the government to reduce precious metal content. The obverse design, created by, features a left-facing portrait of President Kennedy with sharp, dignified detail that remains one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. The reverse, designed by, displays the presidential seal with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch. In brilliant, uncirculated condition, the coin's silver surfaces often exhibit attractive luster and frosty textures that enhance its visual appeal dramatically. Technically, the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar weighs approximately 11.5 grams and measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter. Its edge contains a visible silver-copper layered appearance characteristic of 40% silver-clad coinage. While millions are produced, surviving examples in pristine condition are considerably scarcer than many collectors realize. Most 1967 halves entered circulation and acquired scratches, dull surfaces, or weak strikes over time. Coins with strong mint luster, sharp hair detail above Kennedy's ear, and minimal contact marks are especially desirable. The special mint set SMS versions from 1967 are even more coveted because they were struck with greater care than circulation coins and often display satin-like finishes and stronger detail. Rarity within the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar series is usually tied not to overall mintage, but to condition rarity and unusual mint errors. More than 295 million examples were produced, meaning ordinary circulated specimens are relatively common. However, gem-quality examples graded MS-66 or higher by professional grading services become increasingly difficult to locate. Fully struck coins with exceptional eye appeal can command substantial premiums because relatively few survived in pristine condition. Collectors also search for double dies, clip planchets, off-center strikes, and dramatic die cracks associated with the 1967 issue. Certain SMS cameo and deep cameo examples are particularly scarce and highly sought after among advanced numismatists due to their mirrored surfaces and frosted devices. The market value of the 1967 Kennedy half-dollar varies significantly depending on condition, strike quality, and rarity. Circulated examples typically trade close to their intrinsic silver value, often ranging between $4 and $10 depending on bullion prices. Uncirculated examples in MS-63 to MS-64 condition commonly sell for $15 to $40, while superior MS-65 and MS-66 coins may realize prices between $100 and $500. Exceptional registry quality pieces graded MS-67 or finer can bring several $1,000s at auction, especially when combined with outstanding luster or toning. Special mint set cameo examples are also valuable, with deep cameo specimens occasionally exceeding $2,000 to $5,000 in premium grades. Error coins with dramatic visual anomalies may command even higher prices, depending on uniqueness and collector demand. The 1967 SMS Kennedy $half deserves special attention because it differs notably from standard circulation strikes. During 1965 to 1967, the United States Mint suspended proof coin production and instead issued special mint sets featuring enhanced quality coins. These SMS have often display cleaner fields, sharper details, and satin finishes unavailable on regular strikes. Some ultra-high-grade SMS coins have achieved remarkable auction records, particularly those certified by grading services, such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company. Deep cameo examples, where frosted designs contrast strongly against reflective backgrounds, are especially rare for 1967 issues and represent some of the most desirable modern Kennedy $half in existence. Collectors interested in acquiring a valuable 1967 Kennedy $half should focus heavily on quality and authentication. Coins certified by leading grading companies provide confidence regarding authenticity, grade accuracy, and long-term marketability. Buyers should examine surfaces carefully for excessive hairlines, cleaning marks, or artificial toning, all of which can reduce value significantly. For SMS coins, collectors should seek strong contrast, smooth fields, and minimal imperfections. Because the coin contains silver, proper storage is also essential. Many experienced numismatists use acid-free holders, airtight capsules, or certified slabs to preserve luster and protect surfaces from tarnish or environmental damage over time. The 1971 Kennedy $half remains one of the most fascinating modern American coins in the world of numismatics, especially among collectors who appreciate transitional coinage and high-grade rarities. Although it is not technically a bicentennial issue, the official bicentennial Kennedy halves were struck in 1975 and 1976 with a dual date 1776 to 1976. The 1971 $half still holds an important place in the Kennedy series because it marked the beginning of a completely new metallic era for the denomination. The coin was the first regular issue Kennedy $half struck entirely without silver for circulation, making it historically significant as a symbol of changing economic conditions in the United States. Today, ordinary circulated examples remain affordable, but ultra-high-grade specimens, rare mint stay examples, and dramatic mint-era varieties have become increasingly valuable, with some pieces commanding thousands of dollars at auction. Its combination of historical importance, collector nostalgia, and condition rarity has elevated the 1971 Kennedy $half into a highly sought-after modern collectible. The historical background of the 1971 Kennedy $half is deeply connected to the economic realities of the late 1960s and early 1970s. Following the assassination of President in 1963, the Kennedy $half debuted in 1964 as a national memorial coin struck in 90% silver. However, rising silver prices quickly caused hoarding, forcing the United States Mint to reduce silver content in 1965 to 40%. By 1971, silver prices had risen so dramatically that even the reduced silver composition became impractical for circulation. As a result, the 1971 issue became the first circulating Kennedy $half made from a copper-nickel-clad composition similar to modern quarters and dimes. The coin was produced primarily at the facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, with proof versions struck in San Francisco. This transition away from silver marked a major turning point in American coinage history and reflected broader economic pressures, including inflation and changing bullion markets. The obverse of the 1971 Kennedy $half features the iconic left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, designed by. Kennedy's portrait displays sharp, dignified lines intended to symbolize strength, leadership, and national unity. The word liberty arches around the top rim, while in God we trust appears below the portrait, split across the neck truncation. The reverse, designed by, presents a modified presidential seal featuring a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by stars representing the states. The coin has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters and weighs approximately 11.34 grams. Its copper-nickel-clad composition consists of outer nickel layers bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin a distinctive edge with visible copper coloration. In pristine mint state condition, the surfaces can exhibit remarkable luster, frosty textures, and strong strike details that make premium examples visually impressive despite the absence of silver. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar is the difference in rarity between ordinary circulated coins and elite condition rarities. Millions of these coins were struck, with Philadelphia producing over 155 million examples and Denver striking more than 302 million pieces. Despite the enormous mintage, truly exceptional uncirculated examples are surprisingly difficult to locate. This is because Kennedy halves were often poorly struck, heavily bag-marked, or stored improperly shortly after minting. Coins certified in grades, such as MS-66 and MS-67, are significantly scarcer than lower-grade examples. Fully struck specimens with clean surfaces, strong luster, and minimal contact marks command intense competition among collectors. The scarcity becomes even more dramatic at the highest grading levels, where population reports from major grading services show only a tiny number of superb gem examples surviving today. Among collectors, the 1971 D. Kennedy half dollar is especially notable because high-grade Denver issues are extremely difficult to find with clean surfaces and sharp details. Many Denver coins from this period suffer from weak strikes around Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers. As a result, coins graded MS-67 or finer can reach astonishing values compared to ordinary examples worth only face value or slightly above. Exceptional registry quality pieces certified by professional grading services have sold for several $1,000s in major auctions. The sharp contrast between common circulated coins and elite mint state survivors makes the 1971 D issue particularly exciting for advanced collectors pursuing top population sets. Registry competition has further increased demand as collectors seek the finest known examples for ranking purposes. Proof versions of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar also attract substantial collector attention. These coins were struck at the San Francisco Mint and bear the S Mint mark. Unlike circulation strikes, proofs were specially manufactured using polished dies and specially prepared planchets to create mirror-like fields and frosted design elements. Deep cameo or ultra cameo examples, where the portrait appears heavily frosted against dark reflective surfaces, are particularly desirable. While standard proof coins are relatively accessible, flawless PR-69 and PR-70 certified examples can command significant premiums due to their exceptional preservation. Collectors often prize these proofs because they showcase the Kennedy design in its most visually refined form, offering dramatic eye appeal that ordinary circulation pieces rarely possess. Error coins and unusual varieties from 1971 represent another important segment of the market. Collectors actively search for double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and dramatic strike-through errors. Certain double die varieties display visible doubling in lettering or design elements, making them highly collectible. Off-center strikes that retain visible dates and mint marks can also achieve strong prices, depending on the severity and visual appeal of the error. Some major mint errors involving the 1971 Kennedy half dollar have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially when authenticated and graded by respected services such as OR. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar remains one of the most intriguing modern American coins for collectors who appreciate a blend of history, condition rarity, and long-term numismatic potential. Although it is not a bicentennial issue in the technical sense, the official United States bicentennial coinage was released for 1975 to 1976. The 1973 Kennedy half dollar has nevertheless become highly desirable among enthusiasts of the Kennedy series because of its connection to a transformative period in American coinage. Collectors especially seek superb uncirculated specimens, rare Mince examples, and exceptional proof strikes that display deep cameo contrast and flawless surfaces. In recent years, demand for high-grade Kennedy halves from the early 1970s has steadily increased as collectors attempt to complete registry-quality sets. The coin's affordability in lower grades combined with astonishing scarcity in elite grades creates a fascinating market dynamic that appeals to both beginner and advanced numismatists. The historical background of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar is deeply tied to the legacy of President and the emotional national response following his assassination in 1963. The Kennedy half dollar series debuted in 1964 and immediately became one of the most beloved coin programs in United States history. By 1973, the coin had transitioned fully into a copper-nickel-clad composition after the removal of silver from circulating half dollars beginning in 1971. The 1973 issue was struck during a time of economic uncertainty, inflation concerns, and shifting public attitudes toward coin collecting. Coins were minted primarily at the facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, while proof versions were produced in San Francisco. Although millions were struck, relatively few were preserved carefully enough to survive in gem condition decades later, particularly since half dollars saw a limited circulation but were often mishandled in storage. The design of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar continues the iconic artwork first introduced in 1964. The obverse features a dignified left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, created by Chief Engraver. Kennedy's portrait is admired for its realism, sharp detail, and solemn expression, which symbolize leadership and remembrance. The reverse, designed by, displays a presidential coat of arms with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch beneath a ring of stars. The coin measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter and weighs 11.34 grams, composed of outer copper-nickel layers bonded to a pure copper core. While the design remained unchanged throughout the early 1970s, collectors placed tremendous importance on strike quality, luster, and surface preservation, especially since many examples were weakly struck or heavily marked during mass production. One of the most important factors influencing the value of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar is grade rarity. Although circulation strikes from Philadelphia and Denver were produced in substantial numbers, truly pristine examples are remarkably scarce. Coins graded MS-66 and above by major certification companies become dramatically rarer, while MS-67 specimens are considered elite modern condition rarities. Contact marks, dull luster, weak hair detail above Kennedy's ear, and abrasions on the cheek are common issues that prevent coins from receiving top grades. Proof coins from San Francisco are generally easy to locate, but flawless deep cameo examples with exceptional contrast remain highly sought after. Registry set collectors often compete aggressively for these superior specimens, driving auction prices far beyond the values of ordinary examples. The 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar from the Denver Mint has gained particular attention among specialists because sharply struck examples are surprisingly elusive. Denver minted coins often display softer details on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers, making fully detailed specimens difficult to obtain. In top grades such as MS-67, these coins can command thousands of dollars at auction. Many collectors overlook ordinary-looking circulated pieces, but seasoned numismatists understand that the finest surviving examples are condition rarities rather than traditional low-mintage rarities. This distinction is critical in modern coin collecting, where population reports and grading statistics strongly influence value. A coin that is common in average condition may become extraordinarily valuable when preserved in nearly flawless mint state quality. Proof versions of the 1973 Kennedy half dollar are another fascinating segment of the market. Produced specifically for collectors at the San Francisco Mint, these coins feature mirrored fields and frosted devices created through specially polished dies and planchets. Deep cameo or ultra cameo proofs, coins exhibiting dramatic contrast between the frosted portrait and reflective background, are especially prized. Perfect PR. 70 examples certified by leading grading services are rare because even tiny imperfections can reduce the grade. Auction records for top population examples demonstrate the strength of collector demand, with exceptional proof specimens sometimes realizing several hundred to several $1,000s depending on rarity, certification pedigree, and visual appeal. Error coins and unusual varieties also contribute significantly to the fascination surrounding the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar series. Collectors actively search for double dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, and dramatic minting anomalies. While most 1973 halves are standard issues, rare error examples can command impressive premiums when authenticated by reputable grading companies. Double die obverse, displaying visible separation in the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, remains one of the most fascinating modern American coins for collectors who appreciate history, rarity, and long-term numismatic value. Although it is not officially part of the bicentennial series issued in 1975 to 1976, many collectors associate the 1974 issue with the transitional era leading into America's bicentennial celebrations, making it especially desirable within Kennedy half-dollar collections. The coin carries the enduring image of President John F. Kennedy, whose assassination in 1963 transformed the half-dollar into a national memorial and one of the most emotionally significant coins in United States history. Today, high-grade 1974 Kennedy half-dollars, particularly exceptional mint state examples and rare air varieties, command strong premiums in the collector market. Their combination of historical symbolism, affordability in lower grades, and surprising rarity in top conditions has elevated them from ordinary circulation pieces into respected modern collectibles. The historical background of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is deeply tied to the economic and political climate of the early 1970s in the United States. By 1974, the Kennedy half-dollar had already undergone significant composition changes. The original 90% silver issues of 1964 had been replaced by 40% silver versions from 1965 to 1970, and beginning in 1971, the coin transitioned to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices and nationwide coin shortages. The 1974 issue was struck during a period of inflation, changing monetary habits, and declining use of half-dollars in everyday commerce. Coins were produced primarily at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, with proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. Although millions were minted, relatively few were preserved in pristine condition, because most were released directly into circulation or stored carelessly in bank bags where contact marks damaged their surfaces. The obverse of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar features the iconic left-facing portrait of President Kennedy, designed by sculptor. The portrait captures Kennedy's youthful appearance and dignified expression, surrounded by the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1974. The reverse, created by, displays the presidential seal with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing military readiness and peace. The coin measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter and weighs approximately 11.34 grams in its copper-nickel-clad format. While the design remained consistent with earlier Kennedy halves, collectors particularly admire sharply struck 1974 examples with strong hair detail above Kennedy's ear and crisp eagle feathers on the reverse, features often missing on weaker strikes. One of the most compelling aspects of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is the surprisingly limited availability of ultra-high-grade specimens. Although the Philadelphia Mint produced over 201 million coins and the Denver Mint struck more than 79 million examples, the majority entered heavy circulation. Because collectors at the time often viewed clad coinage as ordinary, relatively few individuals saved carefully preserved rolls or gem-quality specimens. As a result, coins graded MS-66 and above by major grading services have become genuinely scarce. The finest known examples, especially those with vibrant luster, minimal contact marks, and exceptional eye appeal, are highly sought after by registry set collectors who compete for top-ranked collections. The 1974 D. Kennedy half-dollar from the Denver Mint is especially notable in premium grades. Many Denver strikes display weak details and bag marks due to high-speed minting practices. Consequently, coins certified MS-67 are extraordinarily difficult to locate. Exceptional examples with blazing mint luster and nearly flawless surfaces can sell for several $1,000s at auction. Collectors also pursue coins with attractive natural toning, particularly rainbow-toned specimens created by decades of storage in mint sets or original rolls. Such visually appealing examples often command premiums well above standard price guide levels because of their uniqueness and aesthetic appeal. Proof versions of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar struck in San Francisco also attract strong collector interest. These coins were specially made for annual proof sets using polished dies and specially prepared planchets, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted design elements. Deep cameo or ultra cameo examples, with a contrast between the frosted portrait and reflective background, is especially dramatic, are among the most desirable modern proofs. While common proof examples remain affordable, coins graded PR70 Deep Cameo are considerably scarcer and may reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on market demand. Perfectly preserved proof coins are difficult to maintain because even minor imperfections, haze, or handling marks can lower their grade significantly. Error varieties further increase the excitement surrounding the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar series. Collectors search intensely for double dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and dramatic die cracks. One particularly desirable variety is the 1974 D double die obverse, where portions of the lettering and date exhibit visible doubling under magnification. Major mint errors in high grades can bring substantial premiums, especially when certified by respected grading services, such as Professional Coin. The 1985 D Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most fascinating modern issues in the long-running collection, especially for collectors who specialize in high-grade modern coinage and rare mint state survivors. Although it was not part of the famous 1976 bicentennial design series, the 1985, the issue has gradually developed a strong following among numismatists because of its scarcity in superb gem condition and the growing demand for pristine Denver mint examples. Struck at the facility in Denver, this coin represents an important period in modern American coinage when half-dollars were still produced primarily for collectors and limited circulation use. Today, the most valuable 1985 D. Kennedy half-dollars are not ordinary circulated examples, but exceptionally preserved coins graded MS-66, MS-67, and higher, especially those with remarkable luster, flawless surfaces, and strong strikes. As registry set competition increases among advanced collectors, elite condition specimens have reached impressive values at auction, transforming what was once considered a common modern issue into a highly desirable collectible. The historical context surrounding the 1985 D. Kennedy half-dollar adds significantly to its appeal. The Kennedy half-dollar series itself was first introduced in 1964 following the assassination of President, and it quickly became one of the most emotionally significant coins in American history. By 1985, the series had already transitioned from silver compositions into copper-nickel-clad coinage, reflecting broader economic shifts and rising silver prices during the late 20th century. The Denver Mint struck millions of half-dollars that year, yet very few entered heavy circulation because Americans increasingly preferred smaller denominations for everyday commerce. As a result, many 1985 D-halves were stored in rolls, mint sets, or private collections. However, despite the large mintage, truly superb examples remain surprisingly difficult to locate because many coins were poorly handled during packaging and transportation, leading to contact marks and surface imperfections that prevent high grading. Visually, the 1985 D. Kennedy half-dollar preserves the classic design created by renowned sculptor on the obverse and on the reverse. The obverse features a dignified left-facing portrait of President Kennedy with detailed hair texture, strong facial contours, and inscriptions including Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1985. The reverse showcases a presidential coat of arms with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by stars and rays that symbolize national unity and strength. The D mint mark beneath Kennedy's neck identifies its Denver Mint origin. The coin is composed of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, weighs approximately 11.34 grams, and measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter. In high-grade condition, the coin displays frosty mint luster, sharp details, and reflective surfaces that greatly enhance its visual appeal. One reason the 1985 D. Kennedy half-dollar has gained attention in modern numismatics is the surprising rarity of top population examples. While over 19 million pieces were minted, the overwhelming majority exhibit bag marks, dull strikes, or surface abrasions that limit their grades. Coins certified at MS-65 are relatively obtainable, but examples graded MS-67 or above become dramatically scarcer. Registry collectors seeking the finest known examples compete aggressively for coins with nearly perfect surfaces, vibrant mint brilliance, and strong eye appeal. In recent years, certified populations from major grading services have demonstrated how few truly elite specimens survive. This condition rarity, rather than low mintage, is what drives the coin's premium values and distinguishes it from ordinary circulating issues. The market value of the 1985 D. Kennedy half dollar varies enormously depending on condition and certification. Circulated examples are generally modestly priced, often worth only face value to a few dollars. Attractive uncirculated specimens graded MS-63 or MS-64 may trade between $10 and $40, while premium gem examples in MS-65 or MS-66 frequently command between $75 and $300. The most remarkable coins graded MS-67 or higher can achieve four-figure prices at major auctions, particularly when exceptional eye appeal or registry competition is involved. Some nearly flawless specimens have realized prices exceeding $3,000 in elite sales, demonstrating how condition rarity can transform an otherwise common-date coin into a highly valuable numismatic treasure. These prices fluctuate with collector demand, grading standards, and overall market interest in modern coinage. Another fascinating aspect of the 1985 D. Kennedy half dollar is the growing interest in error varieties and striking anomalies. Although no major mainstream variety comparable to classic double dies is universally recognized for this issue, collectors actively search for off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, double dies, and dramatic minting errors. Such pieces can carry substantial premiums depending on the visibility and uniqueness of error. Additionally, coins exhibiting exceptional toning, especially rainbow or crescent toning resulting from long-term storage in mint packaging, are increasingly desirable among modern coin enthusiasts. A beautifully toned 1985 D half dollar with strong grading and eye appeal may sell for several times the value of a standard untuned example, highlighting how aesthetics play a crucial role in collector demand. For collectors interested in acquiring a valuable 1985 D. Kennedy half dollar, condition assessment is absolutely essential. Experts recommend focusing on coins with strong original mint luster, minimal contact marks on Kennedy's cheek and jawline, and sharply struck details on the hair and eagle feathers. Certification from respected grading services, such as Professional Coin Grading Service, PES, or Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, provides confidence in authenticity and grade accuracy. Slabbed examples also tend to perform better in the marketplace because buyers trust professionally evaluated coins more than raw specimens. Collectors should carefully examine population reports to understand how rare top-grade examples truly are before making high-value purchases. The 1986 P. Kennedy half dollar occupies a fascinating place in modern American numismatics, especially among collectors who appreciate condition rarity, low circulation survival rates, and the continuing legacy of the Kennedy series. Although it is not a bicentennial issue in the strict historical sense, since the official United States bicentennial Kennedy halves were dated 1776 to 1976, the 1986 P issue has nevertheless gained recognition as a modern collectible whose value can rise dramatically in elite grades and rare error varieties. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin represents a period when half dollars were no longer widely used in everyday commerce, resulting in many coins being saved in rolls and mint sets, but relatively few surviving in truly flawless condition. For numismatists, the 1986 P. Kennedy half dollar combines historical continuity, iconic design, and modern scarcity in top grades, making it an increasingly desirable piece in advanced collections. The Kennedy half dollar series itself began in 1964, following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in November 1963. The United States Mint moved quickly to honor the fallen president, replacing the Franklin half dollar with a new design featuring Kennedy's portrait. By 1986, the series had already undergone several transitions, including the shift from 90% silver composition in 1964 to clad copper-nickel issues after 1970. The 1986 P coin emerged during an era when half dollars were produced more for collectors and banking reserves than for widespread circulation. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these coins, but many entered storage rather than circulation, reflecting the changing habits of American commerce. Despite the relatively high official mintage, the coin's importance lies not in raw scarcity, but in the rarity of pristine specimens and notable minting anomalies. One of the most attractive aspects of the 1986 P. Kennedy half dollar is its enduring design. The obverse, designed by, features a left-facing portrait of President Kennedy with sharply defined hair detail, strong facial contours, and an expression conveying dignity and resolve. The reverse, designed by, displays a presidential seal with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing military strength and peace. The coin is composed of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it the standard clad appearance used in modern U.S. coinage. It weighs 11.34 grams and measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter. In high-grade examples, especially those with brilliant luster and sharp strikes, the 1986, P exhibits impressive eye appeal that rivals earlier silver issues. While the 1986 P. Kennedy half dollar is not rare in circulated condition, it becomes exceptionally difficult to locate in superb mint state grades. Many coins from this era were weakly struck or suffered from contact marks during mint handling and storage. As a result, coins graded MS-66 and above by major grading services command significant premiums. Fully lustrous examples with minimal abrasions, clean fields, and strong details on Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers are especially sought after. Collectors also prize examples with attractive toning, particularly rainbow or champagne hues resulting from long-term storage in mint packaging. The challenge of finding truly flawless specimens has transformed this otherwise common date coin into a modern condition rarity. The most valuable 1986 P. Kennedy half dollars are generally those certified in near-perfect or perfect grades by professional grading companies such as Professional Coin Grading Service, PGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. Standard circulated examples are typically worth only face value or slightly above, usually between $1 and $3 depending on condition. Uncirculated examples from mint rolls or sets often sell for $5 to $20. However, certified MS-67 examples can reach several $100s, while exceptionally rare MS-67 Plus or higher specimens may exceed $1,000 at auction. Coins with extraordinary eye appeal, vibrant toning, or unusually sharp strikes can attract fierce bidding competition among registry set collectors seeking the finest known examples. This dramatic jump in value based solely on condition demonstrates how modern coin collecting increasingly focuses on top population rarities. Another factor contributing to the coin's desirability is the existence of mint errors and unusual varieties. Although major varieties are less common for the 1986 P than for some earlier Kennedy halves, collectors actively search for double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and improperly struck examples. Certain dramatic errors can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on severity and visual appeal. Double lettering on inscriptions such as Liberty or In God We Trust is especially desirable when visible without magnification. Broad strikes and partial collar errors are also popular within the error coin community. These unusual pieces add another layer of intrigue to the series, proving that even relatively modern clad coinage can contain hidden treasures. The market for Kennedy half dollars has strengthened steadily in recent decades as collectors revisit modern U.S. coinage with renewed appreciation. The 1986 P benefits from this broader trend, particularly because many collectors who grew up during the 1980s now seek coins from their childhood era. Demand is especially strong for coins preserved in original mint packaging or certified in elite grades. Registry collecting, where collectors compete online to assemble the finest graded sets, has further increased prices for top-condition examples. Auction houses frequently highlight high-grade Kennedy halves because population reports often reveal very few surviving examples at the upper grading levels. This scarcity in elite condition creates a competitive market, where even modestly priced coins can suddenly become valuable when graded at the highest tiers. The 1990 D represents an important chapter in the continuing legacy of the Kennedy half-dollar series. While millions were struck for circulation, finding truly exceptional examples with pristine surfaces, strong luster, and flawless strikes is remarkably difficult. Because of this, the finest certified specimens have become highly valuable in the modern coin market, especially those graded at the top of the population by professional grading services. The coin's appeal lies not only in its connection to President John F. Kennedy's enduring legacy, but also in the growing demand for high-grade modern coins that combine historical significance with registry-set competition among advanced collectors. The historical background of the 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar begins with the creation of the Kennedy series in 1964, shortly after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963. The United States Mint rapidly approved the design as a memorial tribute, replacing the Franklin half-dollar almost immediately. By 1990, the series had already transitioned through several important metallic changes. Early Kennedy has contained 90% silver in 1964 and 40% silver from 1965 to 1970. But by the time the 1990 issue was produced at the facility the coins were struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition intended for general circulation. During this period, half-dollars were no longer widely used in everyday commerce, which unintentionally increased collector interest because many pieces were saved directly from mint rolls and bags. Although the coin does not commemorate a special anniversary like the bicentennial issue, it remains part of the broader Kennedy Memorial Series that continues to resonate deeply with American collectors. The design of the 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most recognizable portraits in American coinage. The obverse, created by, features a left-facing portrait of President Kennedy with sharply detailed hair and dignified facial features. The inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1990 surround the bust, while the small D mint mark beneath the truncation identifies the coin as a Denver Mint product. On the reverse, designed by, the presidential seal is prominently displayed with a heraldic eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing military strength and peace. The coin measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter and weighs 11.34 grams, with a clad composition of outer copper-nickel layers bonded to a pure copper core. In top-grade examples, the design reveals exceptional frost, vibrant mint luster, and strong strike details, especially around Kennedy's hairlines and the eagle's feathers. Although the mintage of the 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar exceeded several million coins, true rarity emerges when condition is considered. Most surviving examples exhibit contact marks, dull surfaces, weak strikes, or impaired luster due to mass handling and storage in Federal Reserve bags. Coins certified at grades such as MS-66 and above become increasingly scarce, while examples reaching MS-67 or MS-68 are genuinely difficult to locate. Registry collectors, who compete for the highest-ranked certified sets, aggressively pursue these elite condition coins. In modern numismatics, condition rarity often matters more than overall mintage numbers, and the 1990 D illustrates this principle perfectly. The scarcity of nearly flawless specimens has transformed what was once viewed as a common modern issue into a surprisingly valuable collector's coin. Another important aspect of the 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar involves strike quality and special varieties. Collectors pay close attention to coins with strong details in Kennedy's hair and sharply defined reverse elements. While no universally famous major era variety exists for this specific date comparable to classic double dies or missing mint marks from earlier decades, several minor errors and anomalies have appeared on the market. Off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, and double die features can significantly increase desirability. Additionally, coins exhibiting exceptional eye appeal through rainbow toning or satiny mint brilliance often command substantial premiums. Modern grading standards are unforgiving, meaning even tiny imperfections can prevent a coin from achieving the highest certified grades, making elite specimens especially rare and expensive. The market value of the 1990 D. Kennedy half-dollar varies dramatically depending on grade and overall quality. Circulated examples generally trade close to face value or for modest collector premiums, usually between $1 and $5. Uncirculated rolls remain popular among modern coin enthusiasts, but the real financial interest lies in professionally graded specimens. Coins certified MS-65 may sell for around $20 to $50, while MS-66 examples often bring between $75 and $150 depending on eye appeal. At the elite level, MS-67 specimens can reach several $100s, especially when certified by respected grading firms such as OR. Extremely rare top population examples graded MS-68 have achieved auction prices exceeding $1,000 in some cases, reflecting the intense demand among registry set competitors and advanced Kennedy half-dollar specialists. One reason for the growing value of high-grade 1990 D. Kennedy halves is the broader trend toward modern coin collecting. For decades, collectors focused heavily on 19th century silver and gold coinage, often ignoring clad-era issues. In recent years, however, modern coins in extraordinary condition have gained substantial recognition. Younger collectors especially appreciate the accessibility and affordability of modern series, while advanced numismatists recognize the genuine rarity of top-grade survivors. The 1990 D has benefited from this shift in collector attitudes. Auction records demonstrate that premium quality modern halves continue to appreciate steadily, particularly as certified populations remain limited. Coins with superior luster, original surfaces, and minimal abrasions consistently attract stronger bidding activity.